Today we're going to be talking about the most mistreated fighter in the whole of the UFC, Movsar Evloev. And if you don't know who Movsar Evloev is, he's a featherweight fighter in the UFC, 19-0, just beat former champion Aljamain Sterling, just beat Arnold Allen, just beat Diego Lopez. That was his last 3 wins, and then before that, Dan Ige. 19-0. Don't get me wrong, all his wins in the UFC are by decision, but extremely dominant most of the time. High level wrestling, like wrestling to the highest level. Striking's become really good now as well, and he's just like, I really think he can definitely win the championship. The reason I'm making this video though is obviously Volk vs Diego Lopez. It's been announced for UFC 314, and don't get me wrong, I love that fight. I think Volk's one of my favourite fighters, and Diego Lopez is so fun to watch. But I still think Evloev deserved to be in that title picture. Even if it was Volk vs Evloev or Lopez vs Evloev too, I don't think Evloev shouldn't be in that fight for either of them. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd probably put Volk ahead of Lopez just because what Volk's done in the division, even though he is coming off a knockout loss to Ilya. But he was probably going to get that rematch against Ilya before Ilya vacated the title. So I probably would have done Volk vs Evloev. But if people were saying, oh, Volk doesn't deserve it, it should be Lopez vs Evloev, that's fine. But I definitely think he's more deserving than Lopez. He's beat Diego Lopez, obviously it was short notice and it was a couple of years ago, but the biggest thing that I think is Evloev have already beaten Dan Ige, and then obviously that's one of Lopez's big wins, Dan Ige. His biggest win, Lopez's biggest win, and the reason he got the title shot is he beat Brian Ortega. I like Brian Ortega, I like watching his fight, I love his jiu-jitsu. I'm a jits guy, so I love watching his jits, especially his triangles, unbelievable. But my opinion, Arnold Allen and Aljamain Sterling are both more credible and both more impressive wins than Brian Ortega. I think maybe if Diego Lopez where he kind of woke him up with his second shot when he dropped him. So in the first round, Lopez drops Ortega, but he drops him with like a 2-punch combo, but the second punch woke him up. If he would have flatline KO'd him first round, then maybe I'd be more inclined. But Aljamain Sterling vs Evloev, which was just before the new year, one of the sickest fights of the year in my opinion. Technique so high level, the grappling was so good, very close fight. But Aljamain Sterling is a better win than Brian Ortega. Brian Ortega, in like the last 5 years, I think he's won 1 fight, or yeah, I think it's only 1 fight. Like, come on. The Dan Ige one as well, like, I understand Dan Ige, dead impressive, he fought him on 3 hours notice. Evloev already beat him, and then we're also adding Arnold Allen into that very impressive win. I think Arnold Allen's super talented. So my opinion, Evloev should have got the nod, he should have got the decision, and then now whoever wins out of that surely fights Evloev. But then Yair Rodriguez vs Pitbull, if Pitbull goes out and destroys Yair, then I'm pretty sure the UFC are going to want to push Patricio Pitbull. So then does Pitbull have to fight Evloev, or like, it just makes no sense. And like Evloev even put out on his story the other day, 145 or 155, who wants it? Because like, he needs a match, he can't get a match, he wants a match. And I think Evloev vs Volk wouldn't have been as entertaining as Lopez, probably, because it would have been more of like a grappling fest. I know to the casuals, people want to watch someone get knocked out. So Lopez he's a fan favourite, that's what he's got going for him. But Evloev, he's beat Lopez as well. Like, that's another thing, he's beat Lopez. I think if Max Holloway stays at featherweight, then maybe Max Holloway can fight the winner of Patricio Pitbull vs Yair Rodriguez, while Evloev fights for the title next. But I don't think Max is. I think Max is going to go to lightweight. I think he's already said that. So featherweight's in like a weird situation. Well, not featherweight, Evloev is in a weird situation. Like, he should get the next title shot, but he hasn't quite got the appreciation where I don't know if he will. So let me know what you think. Do you think Evloev should have got the title shot? Me personally, I think it should have been Volk vs Evloev. I completely understand why Lopez got it, and I am excited for that fight, but I do think Evloev was more deserving of it. Let me know what you think. I do think, I'm going to put it out there, if Evloev fought both of them, he wins. I think he beats both of them. I think he makes it a little bit boring, where like he holds them against the cage, but I think his grappling, like I watch his fights, and I think people just watch. I think people just look at the fact that he's had, I think, 9 fights in the UFC and 9 decisions. I think people just look at that. But if you watch the fights, like the Arnold Allen one, super fun fight to watch. Aljamain Sterling, don't get me wrong, for the casual it might not have been as fun to watch, but for the regular watcher, it's one of the sickest fights of the year. That was one of my favourite fights last year. So against Volk, I think the Volk one is more like a maybe sway 50-50 maybe to Volk, but I definitely think he beats Lopez again. Don't get me wrong, Lopez's jiu-jitsu is so high level, and obviously if Evloev can weather that first round of Lopez, I think then second round, third round, and obviously if he wins the title, it'd be 4th and 5th round. I think that'd be perfect for Evloev, and I can see Evloev winning that fight. So let me know what you think in the comments. How good do you think Evloev is, and where do you think he's going to go from here? Who do you think he fights next?